Hi again, folks. So today I'm going to be altering this biscuit tin. Since altering my first biscuit tin into a steampunk house, I have been gifted 2 other biscuit tins. This one is actually a music box. I can let you hear it. Not exactly quality, but it's okay. I've gathered a bunch of stuff in a tray, as I always do. Things that I think I might use, won't necessarily use, but there's a possibility I could use them. And in particular, I've got my Finnebar snowflakes, which I'm mildly reluctant to use because they're my last ones. But we buy them to use them, so I'll try not to covet them too much. I've also got some broken bits and bobs that I have taken from past projects that have been taken apart and reused. So I'm just going to go with the flow again. I know this has a door and 4 windows, actually 5, but I don't want it to look the same. I want more texture on it, a bit more of a 3D effect, so I'm going to use some of Finnebar's molds and make my own version of the doors and windows. And hopefully by the time I put gesso and everything on it, you won't notice that those other doors, the other windows anyway, were there. They are sort of, the tin has got a 3D sort of relief shape on it, so you know, will be slightly visible. I've also got this little clock and somewhere a frame there that I want to put a central clock on the tin, and possibly this. Looks okay. Firstly though, I want to turn this frame into more of a door frame, which means it doesn't need the bottom bit, and I'm going to use a junior hacksaw. If you saw just a basic line, and you don't have to saw all the way through and then bend it, it always snaps nice and neatly. So just a few quick, and I've got pliers here somewhere, and just give it a little bit of a bend, and there you go, nice and clean. That's a lovely little bit which I might use for something else. I'm going to be using heavy body gel to glue everything in place, but as ever I won't make you sit watching that at normal speed. I'll speed up and come back to you when the gluing is done. So I've glued this tree on the side, but as you can see, it's not flush to the side, and that's because when I cast the mold, I didn't lay it flat till it was completely dry. But you can make a resin cast bend back to any shape you want. You can actually even make them bend round corners just by applying heat to them. When they get hot, they get more pliable and soft. And if you hold it in place, while it cools again, it will stay in position. It just takes a little while to warm it up. And there it is. It's nice and flush against the side of the house. I'll just tidy up my glue, give it a little bit of a dry with the heat gun, and then we can move on to the next step. I'm going to be using white heavy gesso to cover it. It'll probably take a few coats because of the black bits I've used, but I'm not too concerned because I know I'm going to be adding layers of colour and then more layers of white afterwards. I'm going to use quite a large flat-headed brush and apply the gesso. Rather than make a video of this and you watch me, I'll just pause the video and come back when it's done. Okay, so next thing, I want a base to stand on because I know I want to give it a kind of garden. So I'm going to use this corrugated card because, well, it's all I have. It comes when I buy scrapbook papers to be delivered. So I'm just going to draw roughly the size that I would like to cut it to and cut it out. I realised that line I'd drawn was actually almost half the length of the cardboard, so I have just decided to double up, make it a little bit sturdier, and I'll stick it together with the heavy body gel and hope that helps it hold some of its form because I know it's going to get very wet. When I made my last order at the mixed media place, I was very kindly sent this bonus piece of chipboard, and I'd like to use the large floral part on the side of my house as if it was something growing like ivy would, just to help give a bit more texture and a bit more of a 3D effect, so that when I do the painting there's more depth there. And as I'm merrily gluing one thing on one side, the other things are falling off from the original side. I know it's my own fault. I know I should dry everything properly before I come back, but it could take days and I don't have days, so I'm trying to rush everything along. I'm definitely going to get most of my gluing done and leave it overnight. But for now, I'm going to try and battle on and get some more of the white gesso on. So I've decided if I'm actually going to break the habit of a lifetime and actually leave it to dry completely overnight, I might as well glue on as many of the extra bits that I want on it as possible and leave it all to dry overnight. I want to turn that little extra piece from the door frame that I cut off and turn it into a little step. So I've nudged the door frame up a bit, so you see it was good that I didn't dry the heavy body gel right away. And yeah, I'm just going to carry on gluing and supporting everything, and then I'll go away and leave it to dry and come back tomorrow and do some more. I want to add this Christmas tree onto the side, but I'm going to have to flatten it. I'll just snip off the bits into the waste paper bin so it doesn't get all over my project. And back in a second. Okay, see, now it's nice and flat, so it's going to be much easier to stick on to the side of my house. So, success. I actually managed to leave it be, and when I got up this morning before breakfast, I gave some of the bits that I glued on a nice wee coat of white gesso, ready to start crafting again today. Now, I want to add mostly blues, but before I do that, I'm going to take the opportunity to try some of my mica powders on the white gesso. I know that I'm going to paint over everything, but it gives me a nice chance to see how they look, because I've only ever done it on black gesso before. And the main colour I will be actually using, it will be the ultramarine liquid acrylic and the Prussian blue liquid acrylics. But I am going to have a little experiment with some other colours before I completely cover them up, just as a learning process for me to find out what things look like. Ooh, I really like those. But I'm going to go with my plan with the Prussian blue and the ultramarine. And it's going to be a little bit difficult with the project lying down on its back like that. I would normally have it standing up so the water flows. But, well, I'll just carry on and see how it goes. A quick bit of a sidetrack here. In the last project I made that had the snow goddess on it, I used a lot of the opalescent paints, but it was on black gesso, and the one that was blue violet, when I painted it on the black, you saw all that beautiful violet coming through. So I just wanted to quickly put this same paint on the white gesso so that you could see the difference. It's that beautiful colour of blue. And the violet is hardly there, although when I do turn it to the light you can see it. So that's all the blue that I want on for now, and I want to add the highlights back in with the white. I'm going to use the heavy gesso again. I was going to say I want to dry brush, but it's not exactly dry brushing because I'm going to go in quite heavy handed. It's not completely painting it white, but it's sort of a mix between painting and dry brushing. I want to be adding some effect pastes now, and the first one is probably quite expected for this sort of a theme. It's the crushed ice. Yeah, makes sense, okay? But the second one actually that I want to use is the pixie paste. So the crushed ice, obviously it's white and it's glittery and it dries in looking like a sort of a glacier kind of effect, and I love it. And I'm just going to apply that in lumps and bumps and blobs all over the place, just so that it looks maybe like where clumps of snow have gathered and frozen over. The pixie paste, it's got all those lovely bits of glitter and mica, but some of them hint on the sort of greenish tones, and there's even a little bit of pink in there. I just want to press that in amongst the branches of the trees to make it look sort of just a little bit magical. I'm starting to feel quite pleased with it, but obviously we've got this base bit here, this cardboard, which still mostly just looks like cardboard with white gesso on it. So I want to make some kind of snow or something. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the nice textured paste from Finnabar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this mini art stones, and I'm going to make my own sort of texture paste with it. I'm going to add in some of the heavy body white gesso, and I also want to make sure it has a nice extra sticking quality, so I'm going to add in some of the 3D gloss gel as well, because that makes quite a good glue. And when I'm pressing all the homemade snow in around the base of the trees and along the edge of the house, I know that it's going to give them a little bit extra security, a bit of extra gluing. And I want to stand one of those deer ornaments that I showed you at the beginning in it too, and so that will also give something for that to stick into. just to give my snow a nice twinkly frosty feel, I am sprinkling some clear glitter over it. To help the deer or stag, whatever it is, stand up, I'm just going to pile up some of that homemade snow that I made. I've got some extra bits. I'm just going to pile it around its legs, its hoofs, just so it's got a wee bit extra grip. So I found these little crystal and silver beads in my bead box. They're just from some broken jewellery, and I thought they looked quite nice just dotted around the base like sort of giant magical snowballs. So I'll just use the 3D gel and attach them that way. I want to try and attach this little picket fence, which I have had in my stash for about 15 years. And it's time to use it. I'm not sure how it's going to stay on because it's not a very big surface to attach it to, but I'm thinking I'll use heavy body gel all around the edges or the base of the fence, and maybe use some kind of pin or tack to hold it in place whilst it dries. What I actually have here are carpet tacks. Well, that's what we always have called them, little carpet tacks. It's the kind you use to hammer in to keep your carpet down. So I'm going to try and use these by pushing them into the cardboard at a slight angle, just so that it holds the fence in place until the heavy body gel has dried. So there it is, most of the heavy body gel has dried. I'm leaving the tacks in just for a few more hours just to be sure. And I've painted the picket fence white. Technically speaking, that's the project done. I have to admit I am very, very tempted to get out some burnt sienna and give it a bit of a more of a vintage vibe. And there's metal on the fence and I want to put a little bit of rust on it, but I am going to resist for at least 24 hours and live with it as it is. If I do decide to change it, I'll certainly take photos and let you see what I've done with it. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, folks. Bye.